Yo, what it do? What it do? What it do? What it do? Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hope everyone had a blessed evening thus far. Hope you had a productive day. Hope everything was blessed. You're now tuned into Right John History Top TV. Look at my man on. Look at my man on. He on the time. That's what I'm talking about. Yo, send me a request. Unlock. Send me a request to go live, and we're gonna get this thing started. Um, yeah, we in the building, man. It's your boy, it's Sonny Wright, man. You're now tuned into Right On History TV. We got the special guest, Unlock the Bars. We're gonna get into him, get into his movement. We're gonna get into a whole bunch of, you know how we do, man. Raw, live, uncut. We just do what it do. All right, here we go. Here we go,
What's
my
up,
guy.
man? What's going on?
What's the word, good guy?
What's word? What's the
What's
word?
good, man? I can't complain, man. I had a great day. It's been a great week. I'm enjoying life. I'm just happy to be here.
Yes, sir.
I'm thankful that you came on, that you was free.
Yes, sir.
Um, I'm just, to be honest, man, I'm just happy to be here. Like I said, man, I came
Yeah.
in, like I'm blessed.
Yes, sir.
I'm happy that you won. We're gonna get into you, get into the younger. Let me get it right, because I know
Yeah.
sometimes I be forget the young and informed media. We're gonna get into them. Before we get started into that, my son might come in here, but it's all good because I want him to be in tune. If he does, if he don't, cool. But I just wanted to let you know
That's
he
what's
might.
up,
'Cause
man. It'll be
every
we
time I
be
go
excited
live,
to
he
see
like
him,
to
man.
see. He like to see
We
what's
love to
going on
bring
with
all the
Daddy
youth
Dawson.
in. You know what I mean? That's what's up.
So yeah, man. Everybody tuned in. You're now tuned into Right On History TV. We got special guests, Unlock the Bars. I'm gonna give you a quick little breakdown about his background. I ain't gonna be too long because I want him to break it down and explain his movement and what he does and why he even got into doing what he does.
Yes.
Go quick. Let me give a quick. I'm gonna read. I'm gonna paraphrase. I'm not
Okay.
gonna go
Yeah.
crazy.
No problem. No problem.
So the Unlock the Bars movement started during the pandemic. It started because of the Bars app. If you don't know what the Bars app is, it's an app that helps artists spit their rhymes, and I think it's like, what's it? Is it 4 bars or 8 bars?
No.
I'm not
Yeah.
a hit.
It's just it's about 8 bars. Like 8 bars, they got like you have a minute to spit your to present your your pro
Your talent.
your talent and make it creative and stuff like that. That's how it all
Yeah, so
started. Yeah.
that's how it all started. He got in tune with that. He joined as a user because he just loves hip hop. He's an MC as well, and he incorporated his kids. We're gonna see his kid later on in the show. That's young informed media. That's a whole nother movement
Yeah.
besides the Unlock Bars movement. You know what's crazy? I'm gonna put this down because I don't
Yeah.
like. I want you to really break down
Okay.
what you do because you can say it better than I can read it,
Yeah.
and I want
So
people to really feel the grasp of what you do.
yeah.
Again, I want you to share the video. Everybody follow Unlock Bars and just pay attention and tap in. Do what you do, brother, man.
Yeah, man. Well, it all, the whole Unlock the Bars movement and Young Informed Media is a movement that started from, a labor of love for hip hop, love for my children, building with my children. And it really started, if you really want to know, it started back when they were in kindergarten, when they first,
Mhm.
of course, when they first were born, but in kindergarten, I had a life change and I shifted. Uh,
Unlock, hold on. I'm sorry.
mm,
When you said that, I thought about that post, the graduation. But before we get to that,
yeah.
what was that post about? What was you? Was that a graduation? Was it did
Yeah,
you get a
that was along the
degree?
journey. So that post, actually that post was from something like 2017, 18, with my
Okay.
master's in higher education leadership and policy studies. That I, thank you, sir. And I achieved that, through like I said, I attribute a lot of the things that I eventually achieved success in through the love of building with my children and
Mm-hmm.
being focused, because before that, and a lot of people that pull up on Unlock the Bars lives when we talk and have a lot of hip hop therapy discussions, I really came out of that situation where I really didn't have a purpose. I didn't feel I had passion or a purpose, and I was, really numb to a lot of the situations as a young man and the things that I went through, coming up with a little chip on my shoulder and through rough situations. And what I really attribute to saving my life is becoming a father. And
Mm-hmm.
some people have purpose. You know, everybody has a purpose in their life, and
Mm-hmm.
it's different things. You know, certain jobs, this and that. I really found out that my purpose is fatherhood. You know what I mean? That's my purpose. You know, because I literally, when my first son was born, I worked my way without any degrees up into a high position in Brooklyn workforce development. And I
Wow.
did it by starting in the mailroom and grinding. And I went from there to becoming like an operations coordinator and running a lot of sites in Brooklyn. You know, as soon as
Mm.
my first son was born, I left. I quit.
Wow.
And I said,
Wow.
I'm gonna stay home, become a stay-at-home dad. I'm gonna raise my kids. You know,
Salute to you. Salute to that shit. You know what? I don't want to cut you off, but I gotta salute that because a lot of us men, and
mm-hmm.
I say us because I was a stay-at-home dad for the first 2 years during the pandemic and
Yeah,
all that. So I understand, and we don't get enough. Not that we're asking for credit, but
right,
at the same time, we do want to get acknowledged that it's not only deadbeat dads and so-called baby daddies out. It's real fathers out here doing what they do because that's what we was taught. That's how we was raised.
right.
You know, so salute to you and salute to all the dads that are stay-at-home dads. That's
Definitely
not
salute
being
to.
a sucker. That's not being soft. That's not because
Mm-mm.
you. Sometimes it's teamwork. It's
Teamwork,
teamwork.
teamwork. So when that all went down, you know, my wife was you know, she's a doctor and and
Mm.
and um she deals with you know, like the prenatal and a lot of the intensive care units. So I already knew she was living her purpose. You know,
Okay.
I was in a job where I just, you know, I grinded from A to this point, and I made
Mm-hmm.
it very successful. But I knew there was more that I was yearning, and I really didn't have my thumb on it yet. I was still figuring it out. And it was very new for me to have something that I was being consistent with. And like I said, it hit me when I found out she was pregnant. I was like, you know, we don't believe anybody else raising our kid, and you know, I said, listen, I'm a stay at home and I'm gonna figure this out. And that shortly turned into you know, step by step, organically living, you know, having your consistency become truth. Because day
Mm.
in and day out, you know, it was just unfolding in front of me. I couldn't say I started off with a plan. You know, it was
Mm.
just living it and really being in the trenches. And then, you know, you know, and I started to learn certain things about myself, you know, and it started the moment, you know, I don't want to sound corny, but I'm telling you, it's the real. Like
Nah, you don't sound funny.
the
Truth.
moment they put Noah in my hands,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in that delivery room, um, I really felt like it was like a download of, like, you know how you remember the Matrix when he sat there,
Yeah.
like it was before, when she was pregnant. I was nervous. I was shook up, like, yo, I'm about to be a father. I'm rocking back and forth. It was like the moment they put them in my hands, it was like this calm and this warm energy came over me, and boom! From that moment, people in my family describe it like, yo, man, you just started going hard with all this information and started with all this planning, and then where did that come from? And I'm like, man, this came from a divine place, because, you know, it was just something that was a quiet power that hit me, and I was committed. I mean,
Mm.
and never looked back. So fast forward, when they got into kindergarten and started going into the schools, I was, you know, new to that as well. You know, my first son going into fifth grade.
Uh-huh.
You know, now I'm kind of working, but I'm building my schedule around my
Right.
children. You know, so
Uh-huh.
it's just like there's jobs I'm turning down. There's this, but I'm just
Uh-huh.
building my life around them. And shortly there, I just started saying, you know what? I want to make. There's a lot of things that I experienced as a young man when I was their age, and there's a lot of things that I went through that I wanted to protect them from. And I
Mm.
said, the best way I can protect them from it is by empowering them and giving them confidence early, giving them that self-esteem early, building it into their makeup, so that when I'm not around, the way that they walk and the way that they move is of a certain way that provides that protection in everybody that they deal with, that confidence. And
Mm.
one of the things I started to do is when I would drop them to school every day, I would, right before, and I mean, this is when they were like five, you know, like that little small G's, man. Like I would drop them, they'll be in the car, and I would turn around right before I would walk them in the door into the building, and I would say, you know, Blake boys, and they would scream out, strong boys. I'm like, Blake boys. I'm like, strong boys. I'm like, Team Blake. Then they were like, love. And I'm like, yo, I love you too. Now go get it. You know, and they were just doing that for that little. It would pump them up. You know, and so teachers started hit. Why isn't your kid having separation anxiety? Why aren't they this? What's going on? And I'm like, they're good. It's, you know. And then I started to see a lot of the things that were going wrong in the New York City Department of Education public school system, which then led me to start volunteering so I can keep my pulse on it. So I started, hey, I'll be available. Anybody want to do the field trips? I'll go. And it went from that to becoming class parent to then becoming PTA president, the first Black PTA president, because they were going in an all-white district, you know, in a very like $1 million community, which my first experience was when the way I was approached was, you know, we're gonna train you how to deal with your kids, you know, and it was like a certain arrogance, you know, with dealing with a Black father. And so I came, you know, with a keep a chin up pride mentality that no, you're not going to train me. We're going to work together and communicate to make sure that you know, we are forming a team to support, you know, my children. Yes. And you know, once I became into the PTA, and then from there I was, you know, fast forward, I was elected to the school board, and then and then went out for and then ended up being in a position for the entire district. And on that journey, the ups and downs that I went through, Noah and Matthew were there the whole way, watching, soaking it in.
Watching and learning from you at the same time.
Watching and learning what the standards were, what the expectations were, and throughout the process, I always had real talk conversations with them. Like, you see what's happening with this, you see what's happening with that. And then, you know, so one part, you know, I remember talking to them one day, and I said, listen, I'm going to be volunteering more. I said, because you're going to see me in your hallways, you're going to see me everywhere. And I said, some of the teachers are not going to like that, but that's okay. You know, Daddy's going to keep doing what he has to do to make sure your environment is safe. And I said, one of the things I have to do to make sure your environment is safe is I have to reach out to the other kids in the school, not just you. So I said, so if you see me in the classroom and you feel like I'm not paying attention to you, or if you feel like I'm helping somebody else and I'm not running over to you like the other parents that volunteer and run only to their kid, I'm doing that because I'm trying to build a community that's going to appreciate you because they appreciate me. And I said, and the other children will have respect and love for you because of the love that I'm going to show them. And so I started doing it. I started giving my time, and I would literally pull up to the school. They would get out, they go to their breakfast and start their day. I would park the car and I would walk in, and as a parent volunteer, I would teach art, science lab, and I would be and then not only for their class, I volunteered for the entire classes in the school. So I would be there the entire day. And I would walk out with them like a teacher.
Wow.
And I was doing that Monday through Thursday every week.
You know what's crazy you saying this? You're doing more than the actual teachers are doing down there. You're showing more love and care for the students more than the teachers are doing. And you're not even a teacher. And what's crazy is that you're telling I'm hearing this journey like, hold on. Like you said, you didn't go to school for teaching. You just implemented you know what you want to do for your kids and say, you know what? I gotta make myself visible.
Right.
Visible and important. And that's crazy that you was on a PTA on the board and not even being a teacher or not even having a degree for teaching. So I sad to say to anybody watching, don't never let anybody tell you what you can't do. You can do anything you put your mind to if you really want it, but you gotta accept that everyone's not gonna like that. The lesson you taught your kids is that it doesn't matter what people like or don't like, as long as you know what's right within your heart. You know
what? And consistency will be your truth. And you know, and it's deep when you bring up the point about not everybody liking that. My consistency took enemies and made them my friends. Because there were teachers there when I first started that resented me, that didn't like me. They didn't like this black guy coming in here. with this bravado and this understanding and demanding and speaking out and and knowing how to go back and forth when they get condescending and but at the same time never losing my cool. And I'm telling you, man, it's a long story. But if we ever build, like, it'll be some things I tell you, man. It was like things that went on where it was purposely when they felt like, hey, we had enough of him.
Give us an example.
Like, let's attack. Let's give an example. All right.
Yeah.
So
right now, we are building. I know we live, but it's like a conversation.
Right.
We building. So give us an example, because I say that because you never know who's watching that's going through what you're going through, like what you went through, or that wants to do that, and they have to understand what they might deal with and how to get over that.
Right.
So yeah, I'll give an example or two, man.
Yeah. So I'll give an example where there was a time where my youngest son Matthew was in the school, and he was, Matthew's very compassionate. He's like the artist kid. He's the one that with the drama, the acting, and I learned by being present that his language of learning is different than Noah. But Noah's mostly the STEAM, the science technology guy. Matthew's that art. He learns through that art and that passion and that connection with the teacher. And so they taught one day, and so up to this point it was smooth. They thought, hey, he's this guy, he's gonna play ball, he's just gonna agree with everything. They thought I was gonna be agreeable. And so one day, the teacher was teaching about, I believe, Mozart or something like that in the classroom, and he brought up now I think Matthew was in first or second grade, and he brought up the reference about his gray hair, right? And he talked about how gray hair was showing the how you get older, and then eventually he died. Now the teacher had gray hair as he's saying this. Now Matthew, being compassionate about his teacher, is a smart, intelligent kid. He raised his hand and said, "Well, you have gray hair. Does that mean that you're gonna die?"
You're gonna die.
Just at first grade, second grade. I received a hostile letter from the teacher saying that he was threatened.
Wait. The teacher that just explained what Mozart was going through with the gray hair and you died. When he got asked a question about, "Hey, well, you have gray," as a curious kid, hold on, you have gray hair, does that mean you're gonna die? Right. Sent you a letter about a hostile letter, like he was threatened.
Yeah, like about and it was inappropriate about speaking about my death. And which all translated to he was probably going through personal issues about his age and took it out on my son. So when I met with him, I said, "Listen, we were talking back and forth, and he said, but it's okay because I spoke to him and he cried about it." So I looked at him. I said, "Wait, you made my son cry about it?" Then I said, "You spoke to him and you wanted him to write?" I said, "No." I said, "Let me tell you something." I was like, "This." I said, "Going forward, he is not allowed to write any letter of apology unless it's approved by me first or reviewed by me first, and I have to agree before he writes that. Don't do that again." And he was like, so he starts getting, and then I said, now I found out that this was a trigger word, and I said, and furthermore, you missed the teachable moment.
Yes, he did.
And he said, "Teachable moment? No, I've been doing this for a minute." I said, "I don't care how long you've been doing this. You missed the teachable moment by bringing your personal into the situation."
Yep.
And I said, and I have issues with that. And now I want to follow up and have several more meetings about how you are going to engage when things like this happen again. So he was like, he's looking at me like,
taken aback by that one. He was,
he's like, he's like the extra work now. So I'm like, yeah. I said, Tuesdays are parent days, right? Well, the next 3 parent days are walk-in. I'm going to be walking in the next 3 days. Parent, we don't have to make appointments. I will be here the next 3 weeks, and I'm going to have some things that I'm going to write down and discuss with you with alternatives and better approaches that could have happened. And so that turned into, he was threatened by it. 1, 2, he didn't, we know what he didn't like. He was young. And I wasn't in there suited up. I was I'm in there like, and so he looking at me like, how dare you?
He said, "Who's this nigga telling me how to do my job?" who was this? He's not a
Bing
teacher.
Bing bong. So anyway, shout out to everybody I see all my peoples and all the certified nation and Unlock the Bars. And salute, late show salute, man. But yo,
Yeah, salute to everybody watching, man.
Yo, so then, now a couple days go by. I go to pick up my kid from school one day, both of them, my kids, and they're at the door. They're letting all the kids out, and I'm standing there and I'm waiting patiently. They're letting all the kids out. Both doors slam shut, and my kids are nowhere to be found.
Whoa!
Nobody talked to me. Nobody said there was anything going on. At that point, I'm thinking, wait a minute. They went into the school. I dropped them off. I'm starting to feel a little like my kids better be in the school. So I run around to the beginning, and I talk to the kid like, you saw my kids coming? Yeah, we saw them in here today. I said, well, they didn't come out the door. I'm waiting. Next thing I know, they said, oh wait, they're in the principal's office. Can you do this? So I go into the principal's office, and the principal's looking like, oh, she has a look on her face like, I already know what Blake is about, and I don't want no parts of this.
I don't want no problems.
I said, what's going on? But she's there with the assistant principal and the teacher, and she's like, whatever.
I don't want no problem with you.
And I'm like, so they ushered me across the hall into the room, and sitting there is the assistant principal and the teacher, one of the teachers, and they're like, yeah, we want to talk to you about a concerning, we want to just nip things in the bud. They're doing excellent, their grades are excellent, but these things we want to nip in the bud, and we want to get this before it becomes a pattern or of aggressiveness and using those words.
So you hold on, you being a parent, ruffle their feathers. You being a parent are concerned, like, hold on, you ain't gonna tell my kids what, you ain't gonna just tell my kids anything and tell them
it formulated a plan. A plan that I had to endure, stay calm, and overcome to the point where they just fast forward to they submitted and say, yo, we can't rock with this dude. We just gotta stay out of his way and don't mess with his kids. Because from kindergarten to fifth grade is a long journey. And my commitment and love for my children is deeper than any time. So so literally, so she said, she looks at me and goes, I said, what happened? He said, well, in the classroom, he said, we were having a party and your son said he didn't want the cupcake. So I looked and I'm like, continue. They said, that's, that's pretty much he didn't want the cupcake. And somebody worked very hard to make that cupcake, so that was kind of offensive. So I looked at them and I said, I just want to get this straight. And now I'm tight. Like, now you trying to make me, so I said,
it's trying to get a rise out of you. So
my hands under the table like this. So I'm like, let me get this straight. My kid didn't say, my kid said that he didn't like the cupcake. I said, yeah, and he worked hard and da-da-da. I said, pardon my language, but did he say he didn't like the fucking cupcake?
Word, right?
She was like, no, he didn't. I said, okay. I said, so if you held, I said, you held my kids from coming out to be picked up by their parents. You didn't inform me that you were going to do something. 3, now I'm busy and I'm in here talking about a cupcake.
A cupcake.
So they said, yeah, well, we want to just nip it in the bud because, we have good kids and, we want to catch it right now before his aggressiveness builds. I said, then you want to say aggressive. I said, do you know my community? That's a trigger word. I said, are you aware of what trigger words are? Are you guys trained on trigger words? On how to approach different cultures when you're addressing parents? Because what you just said to me was a curse word. So she looked at me, she said, oh, no, I didn't mean it. I said, no, I'm not finished. I said, and furthermore, me and my family are not concerned for the well-being of my son being in your class. if you can't handle a cupcake.
For real.
I said, so I'm going to request that maybe, I said, I know they do those parent reviews. I want to sit in your class for several days to see how you handle, maybe you're, so I flipped it on. So maybe you're stressed out. Maybe you need a break. Maybe you're overworked. That does happen. I'm concerned about you. So I want to sit in the classroom to make sure that the administration is doing right by you.
Yeah, you played the psychological game with them. Fuck their whole head up. You didn't get mad. You didn't get aggressive. Hold on. I think it's you.
Yeah, but it did it without saying it's like it's you, but I want to be here to help you. Like, just like you're helping me with the cup, just like you're helping me with the cupcake. I want to help you get over the cupcake. And so they looked at me and they had this look like, oh, he know how to play the game. So then the lady goes, oh, it's not that big of a deal. No, we don't need to meet about it. I think this is over. This is no. I said, yeah. I said, did you write this in his file, his folder, or anything like that for school? No. We didn't do that. I would like to request to see his folder. I want to see his student folder, just to make sure you didn't slip anything.
Just to make sure you ain't slipped nothing in there.
Right, and so they eventually got the folder after some time.
But I can imagine how hesitant he was to get that folder.
Yeah, and I can imagine what they were doing back there, like, shredding, and so they finally get the phone. They're like, see, this, that, and I'm like, okay. So, boom. That was just the first. So it was like they were checking box. That didn't work. All right, so we need to get another teacher. Now, meanwhile, this was with Matthew. Right? 2 days later, they called me in about Noah.
Oh, boy.
So now teachers are working together.
They trying to get you away. Like, how can we get this guy out of our school?
Here.
Get him out of
here. They wanted to stress me to the point where, we gonna get him out of here. And they
wanted to get you out of it. They wanted to get a rise from you so they can have a reason to get you out of it.
See. Look. And my upbringing, I was like, nah. You guys want to mess with my kids? You got me for the long haul. I'm gonna show my kids how you get through this. And so it translated into a lot of different situations here and there, back and forth. Ultimately, for those who are going through that, my pen got mightier, my emails got deeper, my records got tighter, and I became one of those parents that you did not want me to send an email.
You became a problem.
Yeah.
In their eyes.
Yeah, they're like, his emails are, and it's funny how, you write your own history and experience what you're going through. Because all the things I went through workforce development, of going from the mailroom all the way up until actually becoming one of the executives. I went through the same thing. I was the youngest black manager, and it was all aimed at me, So I had to go through that after working in that industry for like 10 to 12 years, surviving all of the same type of things. And then, so by the time, it was a blessing that I went through it, because I took a lot of those tools that I learned to try to survive in that work element. And when it came at my kids, I was just boom, 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 boom. Like, I've been here before. I know what you're doing. I see the passive aggressiveness. I see how you're doing things. And it eventually, they graduated. Top of class, gifted and talented. It was. And
I need everybody watching. Put some hand claps, some fire emojis, some hundreds. Because if you just heard what a lot of people, parents, would have faltered, broke down, got aggressive, and fed into their trap. But the fact that I'm saying it because you're a black brother.
Yeah.
You know what? Hold on. I stopped saying black. I say melanated brother.
Yeah,
because
melanated
black is an absence of color.
Right.
And so for a melanated brother to really show them that I'm not what you think. I'm not the stereotypical brother. I got some. I'm educated. I got something for you.
But black is not. They say it's the absence of color. Black is all the colors of the rainbow when you mix it together.
You're absolutely right. And I gave the dictionary definition. You're right. You could do
Black
every
is
color from
black.
black.
If you take
Every
all the colors and put it
yeah,
together, you get the beautiful color of black.
you're absolutely right. I just said I don't want to say you're black because your
No,
hair is black.
I got you. No, I
You know,
understand.
you're melanated. I don't know what I'm saying. This is black. I got some black shit in that ain't you. So
I feel you. Yeah, man.
but that's why I like that we can talk and teach and learn from each other and the story you just told as a father that's raising I got a 16-year-old and a 4-year-old, but I worry about my 16-year-old, but my 4-year-old more because it's so different from when my first one was 4.
Right.
It's so much I think it's so much access to stuff that we can't control things outside the household. So being in the home with them, I think is so pivotal. And the fact that you were there with your kids in the home and in the school, it's gonna pay dividends down the line.
Down the
To
line,
the point where we don't see it yet, but they learn so much from you that they don't even know yet.
Right.
That from seeing you in the home and in the school and the way you conducted yourself, even in when it was against you, when they was all against you, teachers said, we want to get them out. And you kept cool. You know what? I give that up to discipline. Mm-hmm. And I say discipline because discipline is needed in every aspect of life. Because if you wasn't disciplined as a father and as a man, you could have easily cursed some teachers out. Oh, fuck that. But it would have been bad for you and the kids because then they'll look to see, that's why we can't have black. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I salute to you for keeping your cool.
I was aware that even though what they were doing, was wrong, I said, you know what? I'm going to try to empower these teachers too, because think about it. I'm leaving my kids there.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, whenever I'm not around, you got to make sure that person that is there with your child in that classroom, has it together and that you're still supporting them, even through the ignorance and even through that. So, man, I led with love with a lot of situations. And there's a lot of situations where teachers they went all the way to the point where I gotcha. And I didn't bring the gavel down on them because it was like, now what? If I do that, now it's going to make it harder on the kids and this and that. So, and a lot of, and some of those teachers, like I said, when they saw that, they knew what they were doing. They knew the war we were engaged in. And when I didn't swing that gavel to cut their head off, they looked at me like, and then a lot of their minds started changing like, whoa, like this is different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so when I left, I had more friends than enemies.
Oh, and because what you did, like you said, you changed the mind not only for yourself but for other brothers that's coming up behind you.
Yeah.
So they won't be quick to judge like, oh, he's aggressive, or like you said, aggressive, or he's just the stereotypical black man or black father that's gonna just whatever for my kids, and my kids is always right. Right. And that's a huge example. And it's big you did that because you set the standard for yourself and everyone coming behind you that's into the same line of duty or line of work that you do. And that's as a black man, I keep saying black because I can't help it, but that's what I was taught. But I just feel as us being, melanated people, we have to, everything is against us, so we have to tread lightly, but at the same time be strong and mean what we say and just lead by example. Because you could have did a lot of talking and then your actions show different. But you talked it and you walked it. Right. So they had to respect it. Right. They had to, no matter, and then you didn't give up.
And like I said, we came from out of the neighborhood and went into their neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And so I made sure my face was everywhere with the neighbors, the community, this and that. And it got to the point where they used to, I used to get anonymous calls on my car when I would try to pick up my kids to the police. Yeah, the police would drive up, check my plates, and knowing I'm a parent there to pick up a kid, the harassment. So what I did one day, it was always the same officers that would the patrol. I saw them in the coffee shop one day. I pulled over. I walked up in the coffee shop. I went and ordered some tea, and then I started talking sports. And then one of the guys, he looked at me. And I made a joke. I said, "Man, I saw you with a Yankee hat or something, man. You can't talk to me." They all started laughing. And then one of the officers, his humanity took over. And I was walking. He said, "Hey, talk to you a second? And I came and said, listen, man. And he's the one who told me. He said, we get calls from your car all the time. You know that, man. He's like, it's fucked up, man. I know what's going on, but, you know, we got to answer the calls. But I just want to let you know, man, we kind of just drive by because we know you. We see you on the school trips. We see what you're doing around here. I saw you the other day setting up cones so the kids wouldn't get ran over. You were doing stuff in the street and you were helping out. So, we wish, any help you need. And he gave me his card. And, so I leveraged the relationship with them. And that's when it started it started bugging the administration and the parents. Like, the police were rolling up. Hey, Blake! And they're like, what's going on, George? How you doing?
You flipped the whole scenario around. Fuck their head up. Pardon my language, but you messed their heads up with that one.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say that's the meaning of gangster right there.
Yeah, man.
That is gangster because your consistency, your persistence, and you knew what you wanted to do and how you wanted to do it, and you did it straight no matter what they threw at you. No matter how they try to get you out of it, you like, man, listen, I'm doing this for my kid. Hey, come here, son. Come here. Say hi.
Hi.
Say what's up.
What's up, King?
Say what's up. You doing good?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is my, everybody know Young Right. He's the Suge Knight. He's like Puff Daddy, all in the video, all on the track. And he made doodle. This is why he came in here, yo. This is why he came in here. That's the real reason he came in here. That's the real reason.
He said, "Hey, what's up? Package incoming."
That's why he came in there. I don't want to straight, but that right there is, and I hope the people listening are taking notes because we have to be more involved with our kids. We can't allow the teachers in the school to teach our kids. Because I see a lot of times people say the school don't teach this, history don't teach that. It's not their job. We want it to be their job, but hold on. It's our job as parents to teach our kids our history, where they come from, about our ancestors, about how the system works and how it's against us. It's not the school's job.
Right.
Because you know why? The system wasn't built for that. It's not. They're not built to help our kids. It's not for our kids.
Right.
And that's a fact. And and I'm saying to say that I just appreciate you and what you've done. Because now it got me. I'm about to go to my kid's school. Like, yo, listen, y'all having family days? I gotta be here. You're having parent days? I gotta be involved.
And you'll get how much stuff you catch. And how much protection you be able to give to your child.
Yeah, and the fact that they see you, it's like, hold on, my daddy's here or my mother's here? Like, hold on, this is different. It's just a little different. You know what I thought was dope? That the fact that you were in your kid's class, you didn't run to them when they needed you, when they needed help.
Right.
Because that would have took attention from the other kids. And they're like, he just here for his kids. He ain't really here for us.
Right.
So it was so smart and sharp of you in that moment to be like, listen, I'm not home with y'all. I gotta focus on the other kids because that's what I live with y'all.
That's what I'm working on, a greater community, because if that community is straight, it's gonna protect you, man. So just because I'm not giving you attention doesn't mean I'm not attending to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So.
And I love that because sometimes as parents we like to be, I don't want to say dishonest, but we try to pacify our kids because we don't want to hurt them or we don't want to damage them. But at the end of the day, it's life. It's real. Mm-hmm. And if they don't get it from us, they're gonna get it from someone else. And it's better that you do it because you're the parent and you mean well. Someone else might not mean well. You know what I'm saying? So you know that's gangster.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna link you and my moms together because for some reason, because my mother she taught in the school for like 20 years. She was a principal, assistant principal, and I feel that something might click there.
Oh yeah,
because to hear this story,
educators, man. My brother was a principal. He did amazing, phenomenal things. You know, they call him the nation's hip hop principal. He was the first to implement hip hop back in the day into the junior high schools and
that's
Oprah, HBO, all that stuff, man. You know.
Okay, if you're gonna interrupt me, go in your room. You gotta chill. Daddy's at work right now. Okay, just listen and pay attention and learn something. Okay, because it stinks over here. He stinks. Y'all don't know that, but he's a boy.
You doing good, man. You got the smile on your face, man. Make you look like smell like roses over there, man. You good.
Man, because I just like that he loves what I do. Being that I didn't, I don't want to get, but being that I didn't have this with my pops, so I even when he makes me mad, I'm like, just come on, kid, just because these moments I won't get this twice.
Get it
It
back,
just
man.
once it gets over, it's over, you know. So I enjoy all these moments, but yeah, man, I'm gonna hook you and my mom's up because I know something somewhere y'all can help each other, and grow a network.
Yes.
So as far as being with some of the kids, let me get this right.
Media LLC?
Young Informed Media. Now, what is that about? And hold on, I'm gonna get your kids on too with their own interview because I want to hear.
Right.
I want to see what their minds at, and I like to involve. Like I said, this platform is for everyone. It's for if your 2-year-old could talk, we want them on. If he's about,
they're ready to pull up tonight, man. They're here. They're ready, and even beyond that, you can go into a more in-depth interview if you want to. But before they pull up, I just want to say, like you said it when you one of the things in terms of I used to always wonder, do they get it? Do they understand what I'm doing? Is this really working with them? And Young Informed Media LLC is the answer to that question. Because when the pandemic hit, what's up, guys?
Hey, that's his kids. Young Informed Media is in the building. Hello, look, my son. You know what's funny about what I love about kids? They see other kids like, hey, that's my friend. I don't know.
They connect.
Everybody, shout out to Young Informed Media. Young Informed Media in the building. These are Unlock the Bars kids. The ones he was just talking about. They are powerful. They are powerful in their own right, and I'm happy that you guys are on. I'm a fan of you guys. I love what your dad is doing, what he did for you, and how can I put this? How informed and understanding and the vision you guys have to already have a company and understand that, if you don't do it for yourself, no one's going to do it. Yeah, your dad's going to show you the ropes, but you still have to put your work in, you know what I'm saying? And to see you young guys on here and doing your thing and really writing your own history, so to say, in all reality, it's a pleasure. I'm so humbled to have you here, that you will even grace my platform, because in our era, there aren't many young. I'm not saying there aren't many young ones, but we just don't know about them. They're not celebrated. They're not congratulated. So I want to take this time to congratulate y'all. I'm gonna let y'all speak y'all piece. I don't want Noah and I forgot the other name, Matthew. No, I got it.
Hey.
Noah and Matthew. I'm gonna let y'all introduce yourselves and let the people know what y'all company is about and what y'all moving about. So the floor is you guys, young kings.
So my name is Noah and I'm 13 years old.
My name is Matthew and I'm 11 years old.
Actually, Matthew forgot this, but he's turning 12 tomorrow.
Hey, thank you. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
You went to that preteen never, boy. It gets crazy later.
But yeah, so what Young and Informed is mainly about is we like to bridge the gap between the real world and the classroom by showcasing people's purpose, passion, and their area of expertise. And we do this with our two major podcasts. Our first podcast that we created about 2 years ago during the pandemic was Conversations With, featuring Noah and Matthew, where Matthew and I go on our podcast and, like I said, highlight the area of expertise of our guests, while also at the same time highlighting STEAM building. And then we incorporated that into our more recent podcast, Unlock the Bars, which you already know is about interviewing artists in their area of expertise and kind of centering the STEAM building in that as well, but more focusing on the story of the artist.
Yo, brother, you are well spoken. Yo, I'm in awe. I'm listening to him like I'm in awe. Like, well, he broke that down like a 25-year-old. Yeah, yo, you'd be surprised. Again, Unlock the Bars, because you're in the system. A lot of 12 and 13-year-olds, they don't speak so intelligently and educated and don't know how to articulate and really explain things. So to hear him break that down and even break down what you got going on. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah. Well, you know,
it, 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 it's a testament to how good of a father and how good of a unit you guys are. You, the kid, and your wife included. It just shows. It just the proof is in the pudding, man.
yeah.
It's incredible, man.
You know, and that's one of the passions behind it. You know, before Young and Informed Media LLC existed, we got to that stage of the school in their later years where, but as I was on the board, and this is when I was serving on that board, and I had a seat at the table, which is so important. I was able to make changes and start writing curriculum for the school, and in doing so, a lot of the Black melanated people curriculum that we brought forth, you know, reflected in the library as well as books. And in terms of programs, one of the things that we did was we had my mother come out and give presentations every year about Rosa Parks, because Rosa Parks was a very close friend of my family. And when I was growing up, I used to think she was just my aunt until I started going into the classrooms and hearing everybody talk about her. And I was like, wait a minute, this is the lady that be at my house, you know, hanging out. My mother, you know, yeah, it's a whole deeper story. So, you know,
we gotta do a part two.
yeah,
We gotta do
it's
a
a whole
part two.
deeper story, you know. And so my mother came out, and she would, because I felt the school wasn't doing enough about incorporating, you know, the history of the melanated people, and not just that month, but you know, beyond that. And so, you know, I fought for it, and then we made it happen. And it was such a powerful program to not only Noah and Matthew watching their grandmother inspire the entire school, no matter what race, but seeing the response of the children who ended up every year, every class, every single kid writing boxes of letters to her.
Wow.
And, you know, talking about the amazing beauty of African American people and African this and history and things that they never knew in the school. And one of the things that happened that was really touching to me is, like, one of my last years there, a teacher had walked up to me in the auditorium during a presentation and said, "We want you to come to the 3rd grade class." And I was saying to myself, well, my kids are in 4th and 5th now. Why am I going to the 3rd grade? Like, I don't, you know, I'm not doing, you know, now I'm on the board. I wasn't doing any of the science volunteering, because all my energy was now on the administrative level. And so she said, just come through the 3rd grade class. You've been invited. And so I went, and I walked into the class, and all the parents are sitting there. And I walked in, the only melanated person sitting down. And, you know, people greeted me. And then all the parents were sitting there as their children presented a program called African American Heroes.
Wow.
And they dressed up as African American figures and spoke about the beauty of the culture and everything that they related it to. They kept saying as I'm sitting there, and, you know, Blake's mother, da-da-da-da-da, fun fact, we learned this and we learned that, and da-da-da. And so they just basically gave tribute, which united the school. You know, a lot of those kids, by the time I left, a lot of those kids that were in that school, no matter what background, were my kids. Like, I had relationships, I had conversations. We were built, like, you know, they were giving me gifts on Teachers Day, you know, like, because I was so, you know, once you start to
you touched them
and touch humanity,
you touched them.
Humanity, you know, it was there, and these kids were, you know, I had a kid walk up to me and say, you know, I told my father he was wrong about Black people, because Blake's not like that. And the father came up to me, and the kid said, "See, Dad, I told him." You know, expressive. "See, Dad, I told him what I said about how you." And the father just looked at me, and I said, "Sorry, man, it's cool. Your kid is very smart." And he was just like, "Oh man, you know." But it broke down a lot of barriers. So
that's incredible.
Turning it back over to these guys.
That's incredible.
The Young and Informed Media LLC, once everything shut down and school ended, Noah and Matthew came to me and said, every year we do these presentations about Rosa Parks, and we do all this, and now that school stopped, nobody's going to get this information. And the new class of freshmen coming in, and the new class of this, they're not going to understand. And so they said, can we do it virtually for the school?
Whew.
And they interviewed their grandmother live, virtually connected to the entire school while all the school watched, and presented the next year's presentation for the entire school. And from there, they said, we want to keep doing this with other people. And I looked at them and I said, well, I'll support you. You know, what do you guys want to be called? And they said, well, we're young and we're informed. Well, hey, just call ourselves Young and Informed. And that's how it started.
Man.
And they never looked back since. That was it.
Yo, I love you kids, man. You kids are, yeah, and I said to say that you guys are the definition of write your own history. I'm gonna be real with you because you saw what your dad did. You got the information, got the knowledge, and said, you know what, we can do this. We can just continue what our dad was doing and teach. And the fact that you helped change the thought of how someone saw black people or melanated people is amazing.
It was wild, man. It was wild.
It's amazing. I'm looking at Malcolm. I'm looking at I knew Malcolm and Martin right here. I'm looking at that, and I sad to say because you don't even know the change in impacting right now. You don't even understand to the level that, because you're so, not to say you're so young, but it's just bigger than what you think it is. It's because right now we got a bunch of adults loving you guys right now. And it's crazy. I got a question for the kids. I mean, be honest, it's okay. Dad ain't gonna get mad.
No.
What did you when you first saw Dad in the school? What was your initial thoughts? What was like? Hold on, here go Dad again. What were your initial thoughts? And then at the same time, what did you get from him?
So for me, my initial thoughts when I first saw my dad in volunteering in our school, I didn't think much of it. I was surprised to see him. That was the main thing, because I didn't expect him to become such a constant volunteer. But year after year, it just started becoming normal. Like, oh, we're having a field trip, Dad's coming. Like, it was just a normal thing. And what I got from it, I don't know if my dad knows this, but like every single day, my friends would be like, oh yeah, how's your dad? Tell him I said hi.
Wow.
Yeah, and my dad, my mom, my grandmother, my grandfather, like my whole family was known in that school. So every day what I got out of it was like, oh, like random times. Like, let's say we were doing social studies or we were in lunch. So like even a kid from third grade, like if I was in fifth grade, a kid from third grade would walk up to me and say, oh yeah, the other day your grandmother presented about Rosa Parks. That's cool. I didn't know she was in your house like that. Like things like that. So what I got out of it was it was positive. It was cool because I got to tell a lot of my friends and peers around the school, like, I guess more of the cool things about our family that they didn't know. Like, I guess a primary source for them since they met my father, things like that. So yeah, that was the impact for me.
That's incredible. What about the brother? He's the silent one I see. He's just like, hey, I'm let him do the talking.
No, he's not. That's little turnip right there. He turns up. Yeah.
Let me hear some turn up then.
So when I first saw my dad being a role model in our school, like volunteering, I thought to myself, I'm like, wow, like I'm proud that he's my father. Like I'm honored. I'm honored that he's my father and he's volunteering in our school like every single day, like doing many different things. And I always got like compliments like, how's your dad doing? I saw your dad, blah blah blah, stuff like that. And especially when he chaperoned for field trips.
Yeah.
But overall, it's just amazing how he was being a role model like every day in school. But yeah.
Beautiful. That is beautiful. That is like, I mean, to see a father and son duo, and then you know, the unit you guys have and the growth and how appreciative the kids are to seeing their dad. Because, you know, some people are like, my dad is here. It's annoying. Even if you're doing something good, it's like, come on, I can't be cool with my dad here. But the fact that they understood what you were doing and accepted it, like, nah, that's my son. I know the reason he's doing it is for
Right.
us. So it's amazing. And it's just, I'm so touched because, you know, as a dad and a kid that, you know, always wanted to have that type of dad. Not to say I don't regret nothing, but I just, you know, somebody just like, damn, it's just, you're a great example, man. You
Thank
and
you,
your
man.
kids
You
are
know,
great examples.
I gotta be
It's
careful, man, because these
beautiful,
kids will choke
man.
me up, man. They give me, you know, I don't want to get choked up with these guys, man. They do it quick.
Yeah, man. I
They
mean,
slick. They slick,
how can
man.
you not? You got me choked up. How could you not? That's like it's like, you know, you're watching, you know,
Yeah.
almost two replicas of yourself and the work you put in, and you like, because I know I'm watching like, yo, he gotta feel proud. It's like,
Yeah.
because I'm proud, like, yo, I did a great job, even though my job ain't done. It's like I gotta keep going. I'm doing great because all they're gonna do is continue what you started.
Right.
They're gonna teach kids younger than them. They're teaching adults. Being that the school talks about you, they're teaching adults of how to deal with things, how to see black melanated people in a different light. You know how crazy that was that the kid switched home to his father like your dad.
And that became the fire in me. That's what became the fire. You know, was changing, and you know, a lot of people in my community know, hear me say it all the time, and changing the narrative, man. You know, everything that we do, change the narrative. You know, that say that our young children, not just mine, yours, in our community, those who are down and out, those who are going through rough experiences, those who are not there for them, don't have anybody there for them, and they're acting acting in a certain behavior, not because that's within their heart. It's not because that's how they were built or born. It's because it's a big cry for help going on within our children. It needs to be. We need to bridge the gap between the older generation and the young generation. And, you know, older heads need to stop turning away and looking the other way when it comes to these young, strong warriors in our neighborhood, because this is the next generation. And you'll be surprised under all the bravado and the chest out and what one strike of love will do. Because in my neighborhood, all around here, these guys can walk around protected, because I speak to all the young kids, no matter how hard it is, no matter how tough they talk, I talk back and let them know, yo, but I speak with a strength and use the word love. You know, if they walk, who's talking to? I'm talking to you like that because I love you. What? They're like, you love me, man? You know, like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, you you care? You know? And it's amazing what happens. And I just want to say this. When I was young, my father, and I give a lot of respect and tribute to my pops, man, you know, he was a warrior. You know what I'm saying? He would go out there and get out there with the bullhorn and on the corners and tell people to love yourself, get these drugs off the corner during the crack era, all that stuff that, you know, and all that attention that he would give to the youth. All that attention that he would give to the youth saved my life. And I say that. And I said it in a bar one time. One time when I barred up, I said, if you ignore the kid next door, it's your own at the funeral home you shopping for.
Oh, that's deep.
And I remember one day when I started going into manhood, I was like around 19, 20. I came back from a university and came back into the South Side and into the neighborhood. And I was walking around late one night coming from a spot, and a car pulled up. And the dude came out with a gun, put the gun to my head. His associate said, yo, just shoot him. And I remember sitting there in my head going, just shoot, like, yo, he's just gonna shoot, like, you don't even give me an opportunity to give it up, like, this is crazy. And the dude had the mask on. Still don't know who it is to this day. But through his eyes, he looked at me, and all of a sudden his eyes softened, and he said, oh, shit. He said, yo, tell your pops I said what's up. And they jumped back in the car and pulled off.
Oh, what the?
And when they pulled off, I stood there for like 3 minutes, like, processing in my head, like, yo, it was like like my father's life downloaded in 3 minutes. Like, yo, I understand everything you did now, everything.
Look at that.
Because when I was young, I felt like my father was everybody else's father, and I didn't get enough time with him. But he was doing that to protect me,
to save you.
I had no idea.
Look at that. Look, that's a hell of a story, man. And I said to say, being that your kids are here,
Yeah,
that's what you do. What you do.
yeah,
That's what you do. What you do, because they can have the same protection.
yeah, man.
That was deep. That was deep.
And you know, the blessing, man, is you know, like I said, I went through a lot. I looked at my wife and said, man, Dad, I must have put you through a lot, because I went through a lot, man. I was one of those guys out there with the crews running around, you know, situations, and I talked to the boys, but they know all about this stuff, man. Like, you know, where I almost, you know, I slipped on ice and the bullet missed me, hit the wall over me. You know, when they were aiming at me, and hanging out with the wrong crews, getting into all this type of things. And really deep in my core, numb and angry about all my friends around me who were dying, and at a time where, you know, it wasn't cool to express emotion as a melanated man. You know what I'm saying? And so keeping all that bottled in made me raw. And then I went from that to becoming like one of the knockout kids for the crew. Like, yo, whenever we got into beef, I would just take it out eagerly on somebody. And when I became a father, man, it was like all that softened, like, just, you know, was able to heal from a lot of that and express a lot of that pain, and then teach my kids to be expressive, communicative, and that the power of being a melanated brother and speaking and communicating with your friends, with your, you know, significant other, with the people around you in your world, to speak up and talk. And that's why a lot of people who know me now that I'm close with, we ever have issues, man, they know I come knocking on their door. I don't hold back. I speak and communicate. And I make up a lot of that from the times where I used to keep it all in. You know what I'm saying? Because the power of communicating and expressing your emotions is powerful.
Yes,
you know?
It did.
You know, so
that was, you touched on something when you say that, because a lot of men, especially us melanated brothers, we don't want to cry. We think that's soft. We don't want to be emotional. But that's the total opposite. Real men cry. Yeah. Real men show emotions. Real men have faith. That's one thing my mother made sure she told me. She said, listen, real men cry. Don't go around talking that I don't cry, real men. No, that's the definition of a real man. Your father is the definition of a real man. He has feelings. If you don't cry, you don't have feelings. You a
book out about my father's life called God's Bad Boy.
God's Bad Boy.
God's Bad Boy.
I'm gonna put that in the comments, man. I know whenever I'm looking down, I'm just writing comments and looking at that question. What's the name of the book again? God's what is
Bad
it?
Boy.
God's Bad Boy.
Yeah,
look at that.
By Bessie, Bessie. Blake, Blake.
Look at that. Go. I'm gonna go look for that book.
Yeah, it's powerful.
Get that book. Get that book. God's Bad Boy by Bessie Blake.
Yeah.
The Blake boys are in the building. We in the building with the Blake boys, baby. So you're from East New York? You're from Blake Avenue? No,
Queens.
Yo, I'm so mad that I would have went by so fast. We didn't. You know what's crazy? Because I wanted to ask you about the hip hop shit, but excuse my language for the kids, but it doesn't matter because we're gonna do a part 2. Yeah. And I think we're gonna do a part 2 like either first or second Monday in November, because it's so much layers to you and the kids.
Yes.
And it's incredible. And because you're the definition of manhood, teamwork, family, unity, and the fact that your father was on the corner with a bullhorn.
Oh yeah.
Just teaching the community saved your life, literally.
Saved my life.
Literally. And I'm sad to say, don't expect change to happen tomorrow. It may happen down the line. Oof. It's not about doing it for right now. We gotta do this for our kids. Cause I'm saying that because if Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King, and Marcus Garvey, whoever, if they said it ain't gonna help us now, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
Right.
We would not be having this conversation. So it's not about doing something today to change tonight.
Right.
It might happen 5 years down the line, but
Right.
it has to happen. Don't worry about. You might not even see the change, but put the work in.
Right.
You will not be forgotten. You will be remembered. It will definitely happen, and you are a testament to that.
Thank you, man.
I ain't gonna front. I didn't expect this. I didn't expect it to be so deep and so layered. And now when I come on next time in November, I might have a bunch of different type of questions
Oh,
now.
yeah. We're ready for it.
Because now we didn't even get to your mother.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
the last time
My mother,
we
my
didn't even
father.
get to that because that's
Yeah.
a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I had my mom's on, you sent me your mom. I'm like, hold on, this is
And she just dropped
this
the book
guy's deep.
too. We'll talk about that next time. But she just had
Yeah,
a beautiful.
she had a book and she had a whole struggle, the whole
Yeah.
like
She had a book
this.
signing yesterday too. It was very successful out in Long Island City, so it was dope. You know, it was dope.
If possible, I would love to have you and your mother on.
Oh, my mother would love to come
possible.
on, man, because she's in
I
that
will.
book mode, right? She loves to talk. It's called. The name of the book is "Love Lifted Me."
Love, I'm gonna put that down too. Love lifted me.
From sharecropping to Harvard.
From sharecropping to look at. Do you hear that title? From sharecropping to Harvard. You know, it's a lot of in between in that.
Yeah.
It's Love lifted me.
From sharecropping
By
to Harvard.
from
sharecropping
from sharecropping to Harvard. My fault.
No, no problem.
Wow, I'm just amazed that I don't damn this stupid the smartphone did some crazy shit. Hold on.
So while you're doing that, man, I want to give props to you, man. What you're doing at Write Your Own History. The whole Certified Nation. City, Samantha, Ms. Dixon, all of them, man. Burns, everybody, man, that's grinding and doing their thing because the light is definitely in you. And I remember when I first started pulling up to this platform, the city kept inviting me. You get asked to pull up to a lot of platforms. And I go in, I show love, and go through the rotation, the movement, and then you move on. It wasn't that when I pulled up in here. I was like typing away crazy. I couldn't stop talking in the comments. I was so touched by I was like, whoa, there's somebody doing it like this out here, man, and they're going deep into not just the hip hop but the culture and the education and the social impunity and the struggle. And bringing that to light, my hat's off to you. I told the kids about it. They were excited about it, man. And so I salute to you and your mother. That was an amazing episode. The queen.
You just gave me an idea. When I have you on and your mother, I'm gonna get my mother on too. We're gonna make this something powerful. And if I could, if I'm gonna get the kids on too. If I could get 5 people in this live, we getting everybody on because that's what it's about. It's about teaching, it's about passing it on, it's about not withholding information, and because I hate that with our community. That's a whole other interview right there.
Right.
We gonna November. Matter of fact, I'm booking you right now. The first Monday in November, you're locked in. We gonna talk to your mother. I'm gonna talk to my moms and make sure she's available for that day. Young and informed. I hope you guys are available that day too, because I wanna have input from every aspect of life. Anybody watching, please tap in. Request to join the live because I want to get your input too. Because this ain't no one-day conversation. This is something we gotta build on and keep building. Yeah. Because if we don't do it, who's gonna do it?
Right. We gotta change the narrative. We gotta take control of it. Nobody else is gonna do it. And that change in the narrative, man, it saves lives because they won't be able to shoot us down like dogs anymore and treat us like we animals. Look at these kids, man. Like look, and they're everywhere. Noah Matthews is representation of them kids everywhere, man. No matter what walk of life, and we are in a society right now where kids like this are getting chopped down, and people are numb about it. They just look, another story, another name. We gotta
keep it going. And if anybody's watching, I hope your kids was watching because look at these 2 young men, these 2 young kings. They are doing what they're doing God's work. And I'm saying to say that there's no such thing as you're too young to do this or too young to create change or inform. No, you're not. You're not. People listen to the young kids. That's what we have to start. Because a lot of us old folks are stuck in our ways. We don't want to change. We don't want to listen. You gotta pay attention to the youth. You can learn from someone that's 10 years old, 2 years old, or 75 years old. So always be open. Be like a sponge, man. These kids should be, and you should learn. They should be an example of it's no such thing as impossible. It's only 10 letters. That's all it is. And I preach that. It's 10 letters. You can count them. There's nothing, you can do whatever you put your mind to. And if you really want to enforce change, just do it.
Just do it.
Don't worry about what you don't have. He didn't even have he just did it. I want to be in a school. I want to be a volunteer. That took him all the way to the PTA board. I don't think they understand.
Nah,
I don't think they understand that.
Yeah.
He was a volunteer first and ended up on the board of the PTA.
And it's PTA, SLT, and CEC. And I took over all of them. So
do you understand what he just said?
So in order to do that, you have to be elected, into those positions. And
he did. I'm gonna make this. I gotta say, he wasn't a teacher. He didn't have a degree for this. I gotta make sure they see me when they understand this. Because impossible is only 10 letters, man. Look at this man. Please follow this man, tap in with him, get to know him, and get to know the Young and Informed Media.
Yeah, please.
Understand what they're doing, man. This is bigger than my platform. It's bigger than me. This is about tomorrow. And I don't mean tomorrow being Tuesday. I mean tomorrow 5 years from now, 10 years from now. These two young kings, we might be looking at the next president, the next mayor, we don't know. Right now, we're witnessing history. You don't understand. I don't think people can grasp how serious this is right now.
Yeah, go to Young Informed Media LLC, soak in their page, man. You're gonna see some amazing things, like the mayor of New York pulling up, big names, co-signing them. They just, the health and wellness and shows that they're doing with hip hop artists like Guaranteed Blank and Comic Book Cam and Joe Allende. Mickey Facts. They got interviews with the whole Pendulum Inc. and we're looking forward to Certified Nation and all the different things that they're doing, man. It's amazing, what's going on with them. And one funny story I tell. You want to say something, though?
Yeah, I was about to say. Well, you can say your funny story first, and then.
All right. I saw him rocking back and forth. So I knew he had something to say. So I'm a Mets fan, and these guys.
Me too. Go Mets.
So these guys over here, one day, they interview Rachel Meng on their platform, The Conversation With. Now, Rachel Meng, she has a dynamic page. She's a social media influencer and doing positive things with a lot of different people in the field of sports and this and that. So you go to the page, you see all the stars she's with. They just reached out to her and said, hey, we want to interview you. We're kids, we're young, we're informed. Check out our page. She responded within 4 hours. I looked at your whole page. Yes, I'm down. This is amazing. And so they sat down with her. Long story short, Noah comes up to me, hey, man, you like the Mets? Noah Matthew. I'm like, yeah. They're like, we're going to get you some tickets. So I said, you're going to give me some tickets. I said, so, hey, how about you making box seats and give me making fun of them? Yeah. Making some box seats and get me in the lounge, too. Okay. About 2 weeks later, they come with the paper printed out, 6 Mets box seats in the lounge, approved by Rachel Meng, who's also the head manager of Citi Field.
Y'all got more pull than me, boy.
And me.
Jesus Christ. Y'all got
So I tried to double back and undercut him. Like, hey, what's up, Rachel? How you doing? Appreciate the tickets. I'm the dad. She was like, oh, that's amazing. And you can have any tickets you want in the future as long as I talk to Noah Matthew. And I was like, oh, okay. Thank you.
Yo, shout out to the kids. Oh, man. I like that.
It's over.
Yo, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Before we get out, go ahead, Noah. I know you want to say something.
Yeah, so what I was going to say after my dad is Adding on to the stuff or accomplishments that we've had in the past, we also do this network TV segment. I do Marvelous Music and Matthew does Dynamite Dinos, and basically it premieres live on TV every first Monday of each month, and it's a partnership we have with our friends called the Dow Twins.
Another
They're these
phenomenal,
super-
amazing young.
We gotta get them on too. We gotta get them on too now.
Yeah, their brother and sister.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I love these
phenomenal.
families. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
And adding on to what you said earlier, Write Your Own History TV, adding on to what you said earlier about doing your passion now, one of the things I wanted to say is that a lot of our leaders are focused on creating futures for their next generation, which is our generation, the youth. And my perspective and take on that is to make positive and impactful outcomes for the youth. Why not let youth help make those outcomes instead of waiting for the leaders to do so, instead of waiting for people who don't I don't want to say don't know what the youth is going through, but don't live in it like
No,
the youth
no, you can
does.
say that. They don't know. They don't know because they're not 13 anymore. They're not 12 anymore. You guys know, and y'all around other 12 and 13-year-olds. So you had it right. The youth should lead the youth because they understand. Y'all speak that language. So someone my age might not speak the language of you guys because I might be out of tune. So you had it right. A lot of the older leaders don't know because they're not in your shoes. They're not in the schools with you. They're not hanging out with another 12 and 13-year-old. So you know what's needed in that lane because you're actually there. So
Right.
you Tech, what the fuck, man? You did your damn thing with these kids, man. Jesus
Yo,
Christ, man.
y'all getting some ice cream.
And listen, man. Listen, November, the first Monday in November, whatever date that is,
We keep
you guys got it.
Yeah.
You guys got it. I'm gonna call my moms. Call your moms.
Yes.
If your wife is available, I know she's probably working, but just to chime in because it's a unit. It's teamwork, and that is so beautiful. Y'all raise some educated, intelligent, articulated kids that understand the system and understand what it takes to invoke change, and that's amazing. They are so woke. I don't want to say woke because everybody's saying they woke now, but they walking around with their eyes open sleeping. But they're knowledgeable of things, and that's a testament to how good of a dad you are, how good of a father, a mother they have, and a husband and wife, a team that you guys are. That is amazing because we don't see that a lot in our community. We don't get to celebrate that. So I want to celebrate you guys. I want to thank you guys. I want to thank Uncut. I want to thank Tag. I want to thank Noah, Matthew. Please, everybody watching, tap in with Father and the Sons. They are amazing. They have a movement. And put on your calendars the first Monday in November. We're going to have a hell of a show. We're going to have a hell of a show. I'm telling you, do not miss that one. Because it's going to be amazing because we're going to have different aspects of life. We're going to have so much different topics. And it might go on for 2 hours. I'm going to talk to my fiance because she might have something to say about that. But we'll see how that plays out. But please follow Uncut Bars. Unlock the Bars. _Uncut. Please follow Young and Informed Media LLC. Please follow these young kings. Please, because it's imperative. And figure out how you can help them. Figure out how you can get them on your platform or get them in your school or talk to other youth. Because sometimes the youth don't want to hear an old person. They thinking they be too old.
Right.
You ain't know talking about you old. Get them.
Right.
Get them because they know, they're articulated, and they watched their father do it, go through the trial and tribulation, so they understand certain things that the older gentleman like myself might not understand when it comes to a 13-year-old. So don't, like I said, you can learn from any age, 10 years old or 80 years old.
Right.
Do not be closed-minded. Be like a sponge. Just because you're 40 don't mean you know everything.
Right.
You don't, and you don't know you don't know a damn thing if you think you know everything.
That's right. That's a fact.
You know, I want to thank everybody that tuned in. I hope everybody watching is following Unlock the Bars and Young and Traveling Media, Young Informed Media LLC.
Yeah.
Please mark on your calendars the first Monday in November. Thank you, Unlock the
man.
Bars.
Appreciate it,
Thank you, Young and Informed. I appreciate having y'all on my platform. Mark on the first Monday of November. We locked in again. We locked in for part 2.
Part 2.
I can say what we're gonna talk about, but it might take a turn. Who knows what we're gonna talk about? Cause
it's so much, man. There's a lot of layers, man. You know.
There's a lot of layers, man, and you have so much stories, and I know everyone can relate to those stories because you made it.
Yeah.
You made it.
Made it, man.
You changed your life.
Yeah.
You literally wrote your own history.
That's right.
You are your kids are writing their own history right now.
It trips me out sometimes, man.
Hold on, they got matching sweaters. What's your sweater say? I didn't even say that.
Smart, young,
that's
trendy,
fire.
Cool, educators, hip hop.
That's fine.
And the logo was made by my artist Matthew here.
That's Matthew. Hold on, Matthew. I might have to we might have to do some. I might have to talk to your dad about some business, man. He did that?
Yeah.
Matthew, I want to talk to your dad. I might have to hire you to be a designer or something, or artist in my company or something. I might need some more Write Your History logos, man. I don't know, man. I might have to talk to your dad. Man, might have to. I'm going to talk to your dad about that. I gotta hit him up about that.
And all that, man. He's you know.
Matthew, Noah, thank you. Unlock the Bars. Thank you. I appreciate you. You don't know how humbled I am by having you guys on, all 3 of you. Again, this is what this platform is for. I want to get them twins on too, the brother and sister. I want to get them on too.
Oh, yes.
You know, send me a DM with their parents so I can talk to their parents and see if they'll be, interested in talking about whatever their movement is and how they intertwine with what you guys got going on. Yeah. I would love to have them on.
Yeah, they're serious. They're no joke.
Yeah. Thank you guys,
powerful,
man.
They're powerful.
Man, this was great. Thank you. I can't wait to November. I'm hyped because I know it's gonna be crazy because we're gonna learn more, we're gonna be educated, we're gonna have fun, and we're gonna laugh, and that's what this is about. Before I go, I want to let you know one thing. My motto: write your own history, or someone will write it for you.
That's right.
Noah and Matthew, keep writing your own history, man. Don't let nobody tell you what you can't do. Keep doing it, man. Do it. Ain't no such thing as fail. I know your pops told you this. It's what I do though. I just like to keep it going. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no such thing as failure. It's just lessons learned, man. You feel me? I love you, young kids, man. Keep doing it. Keep promoting what you do. Be productive and stay positive. And your dad did it all, man. He steered you the right way, and I love it, man. Cause salute to y'all, man. I'm gonna find out. What size are you guys wearing in shirts? What's your size?
I'm double X.
You double X? What's you, Noah? What's your size, Noah?
I forget. I think I'm like medium.
Yeah, medium size.
Youth medium or just or kids medium?
Youth medium.
Youth medium. I might have something for you. I think I have a tracksuit, but I'm gonna make sure. I'm gonna check it to make sure. What about you, Matthew?
They're about the same size. About
same size?
Yeah.
I know I'm God. You got me right. I got something for you. If I don't got it, I'm gonna make it for you because you have to. I mean, why not? It's in me to just give back. I have clothes. I sell them, but I don't things like that. Y'all deserve it because my clothes represent what y'all stand for.
Mm.
It represents what you got, and you are the epitome of Write Your Own History. Y'all are the perfect example. So I got something for y'all. I'm not gonna say when it's gonna come, but I know I got it for y'all, and I'm gonna get all the info, mailing address, and everything. And y'all, all 3 of y'all will definitely have something soon. So I love y'all.
Yeah, man.
Y'all have a great
Salute to
night.
you,
It
man,
was
for
a
real.
great interview. Don't forget, the first Monday in November, we locked in again.
All right, you locked in.
You know what? You might have some stuff by then. So if you got it, wear it. Now I'm messing with y'all.
Listen, you gotta get up for lunch, man. So you just pass it on. You pull up, drop the boxes off. We good.
Yeah, but I'm not in New York no more. If I
Oh,
was
you're
in
not
New
in New
York,
York no
I'd
more,
be.
right?
No, I'm in PA now.
Oh,
I moved like 7 months.
Oh, okay.
So, but if I do come to New York, I'll make sure I have that, and I'll hit you up directly.
No doubt.
Matter of fact, unlock. DM me your math.
Okay, I will.
So, I'll hit you up tomorrow. We chop it up tomorrow.
All right, no doubt, bro.
Yo, thank y'all again, Noah Matthew. Thank you, Unlock the Bars.
Salute to the
I
live.
love y'all, man. Y'all have a great night. It was great, man. I learned something tonight, man.
Yeah,
It was
man.
beautiful.
Beautiful.
Thank you very much.
All right, man.
man.
Thank you too, man. Have a
Have
good
a
night,
great
everybody.
day.
Yes.
Peace.
Yes.
Have a good night.
Yes. Now that was powerful. That was some yo. Listen, man. I thank for everybody that tuned in. Thank you. Well, it's not with my hoodie or their hoodie. Theirs was hit up Unlock the Bars if you want them, but mine's is the pencil. Write your own history. That's my brand. That's what I go by. That's my life. That's my lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So, but don't forget, follow Unlock the Bars _uncut and follow Young and Informed Media LLC. It's crazy. I love y'all. Thank y'all. I see y'all next week. Don't forget my motto, man. Write your own history or someone will write it for you. Impossible is only 10 letters. You could count them if you want. Gone.